Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So behind me is my 2021 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. It will come as no surprise or shock to you that I ended up buying a set of Nitto Ridge Grapplers for it. I put some 295 70 18 Nitto Ridge Grapplers on it, and I think it just looks incredible. If you frequent my channel before, you know I've done the same exact tire setup on this same truck, because I do think it looks perfect. It matches the aggressive body lines of this truck. It really just brings it all together, making this look very, very muscular and just looks awesome. So in today's video, I'm just gonna highlight and remind you what it looks like, remind you why I end up going with these tires over BFGoodrich KO2s. Then I'll wrap up the video with talking through how I managed to pay just barely over $1,100 for the full set. Stick with me. All right, before we look at the Tundra, let me remind you of what good old Wyoming looks like as the sun is going down. It's pretty peaceful out here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's look at the Tundra with these Nitto Ridge Grapplers on it. So kind of give you a few different angles. Of course, we'll walk around, kind of remind you of just how well these 295 70 18 Nitto Ridge Grapplers fill out the wheel well. So obviously, at first look, they look so much more aggressive than 9 out of 10 tires out there. And that's because of these, the pretty aggressive looking sidewall on them, right? And you have the opposing shoulder lugs here, alternating, I should say. Every single one kind of dips. And not to mention, when you look at that, the aggressive tire tread there, you would think that it's going to be a pretty loud and obnoxious tire tread, right? When you're going down a freeway. And that is absolutely not the case. And if you own these before, you could probably attest to that too. You would expect this to be louder, and it certainly isn't. So that's one thing that I've always really appreciated about this. They're kind of like a hybrid tire, right? So they have that exceptional off-road capability and performance, but really good and very quiet on-road driving mannerisms, which I really appreciate. Kind of remind you of that. So behind here, you do have about a finger's width, just barely over a finger's width between the upper control arm. Let me see if I can kind of show it to you. So hopefully you can kind of see it there. Sorry, that wasn't the best look at it. Show you around the side here. But as you can see, just kind of looking down the line, it really fills out the wheel wells just fine. It doesn't protrude too much where you're not throwing a bunch of crap down the side of the truck, but really just kind of fits in there perfectly, which I think looks great. And yes, let me address the fact that I said I wasn't going to buy tires for this because it did have some already very nice, very capable Yokohamas on it when I bought it. But I don't know, I am the type of they didn't look the part, and I hate being superficial about it. Those Yokohamas really do have a good reputation, and I think 9 out of 10 people, when they get them, they're really, really happy with it. But to me, if I'm gonna have this brutish looking truck, I gotta have tires to match it, and that's what these Nitto Ridge Grapplers do, in my opinion. Not to mention, just having a slightly bigger size makes it really fill out. It looks like how it should have come from factory, really, right? Those Yokohamas were, I believe, they're 275 70 18s, where, of course, these are 295 70 18s, so a little bit wider. Overall, that whole diameter here is 34.3 inches, so not quite 35s. But as you saw there, by the minimal clearance I had, going up to that 35, that is just barely enough to where it starts to actually rub a little bit more when you're turning it, which brings me to, does it rub at all? And the answer is yes. When you're at full lock with the steering wheel and reversing, it will rub ever so slightly. But to tell you the truth, and I don't want to jinx it, although I've been turning pretty tightly since putting these on just the other day, and I've yet to rub with them. So I don't want to jinx it, but a part of me does wonder, just having the additional weight back here. You guys know I have the decked system here in the bed. Check out my other videos if you want to check it out. But between having that decked system and the bed topper, I kind of wonder if that additional weight back here, it slightly brings up the front, just barely, but maybe just enough to mitigate that from the rubbing from happening, perhaps. It might be in my own head though. I don't know. But I tell you what, I absolutely love the look of a Tundra TRD Pro with these Nitto Ridge Grapplers. It's just such a fitting look. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. You know, should I have gone with the BFGoodrich KO2s? That's generally what I go with, but with Tundras, I always kind of stick with the Nitto Ridge Grapplers. And I think historically it was because you can never get a BFGoodrich KO2 in this exact size. You know, the 295, 70, 18, you can never get the KO2s in that. And this, no kidding, was, you know, quote unquote, as big as you could go without getting any kind of detrimental rubbing happening, right? No, absolutely love it. And love how quiet they are while driving down the road. And just as a reminder, here are the Yokohama Geolander all-terrain tires that came on my 21 Tundra TRD Pro there. As you can tell, nowhere near as aggressive looking. However, to be fair, when you look at the reviews for these Yokohamas here, they have exceptional ratings for nearly every driving condition, whether it's dry, wet, snow, you know, mud, off-road, whatever it is. These actually have really good ratings across the board. So if we're being honest with each other, when it comes to an overall well-balanced tire for performing on all different terrains and weather conditions, this really is it. Let's have a Zozo feature. Hi, Zozo. Good girl. What you doing? Good girl. One thing to note is the weight, right? So these 295, 70, 18s are nearly 70 pounds per tire. That is a lot of unsprung mass to put on each of these wheels, right? So that is definitely something to consider. It will impact your fuel economy. For me, it's about 1 to 2 miles per gallon that I've lost, which when I've already started with 15, 16 miles to the gallon with this very thirsty V8, I'm now down to like 12, 13, maybe 14 with a tailwind, right? So it does affect your fuel economy, and it does affect how snappy the vehicle feels, of course, right? That's more weight having to be sprung every time you get on the accelerator pedal. It does impact your performance negatively, right? And that's a no-brainer, but I do want to kind of throw that out there. When you compare that to the Yokohamas that were on it before, they were about 55 pounds per tire. So we're nearly 15 pounds more per tire, not for that much bigger too, right? So is that worth it? And for a lot of people, the answer is an easy no. Now, one thing I do recommend doing is every time you drop off your vehicle, your truck, car, SUV, whatever it is, to the tire store, even though you feel a little ridiculous doing it, I definitely encourage you to do a walk around video of your truck or of your vehicle as you drop it off, right? So right before you walk into the store, hand them the keys, take a walk around video, show the establishment in the background in your video, and really do a detailed look at each of your wheels. You're gonna feel ridiculous doing it, I promise you, and it never feels right. But I tell you what, that one time you take your vehicle in and you get a bunch of scratches on your wheels, you can easily contest it, right? You can easily say, hey, yeah, I took this video, here's like a date and time stamp of me doing it as I drop it off at your dealership or at your establishment. And well, my wheels are perfect, and now magically I have a bunch of scratches on it. I just want to let you know, what are you willing to do to help me out? Can you fix it? And well, if it's irrefutable, they're going to fix it for you without question. But if you didn't take a video of it, then it becomes a game of, you know, he said versus she said, right? I mean, it's just back and forth game, and you don't want to find yourself in that position. So I definitely encourage you to take the 2 minutes walk around video. You'll save yourself a lot of heartache, perhaps, if unfortunately some scratches occur, right? Even a better case scenario, and sometimes they even do this naturally, but maybe have that representative walk around your vehicle with you and check out each of your wheels in person, and maybe annotate any scratches or any defects on your wheels before you hand the keys over. That way, when something new does magically show up, there's no arguing it, right? Say, hey, you know, we just walked around it together and we both identified that there was no scratches. We did that together. And well, even if you do that with your video, maybe overkill perhaps, and some of you might take to the keyboard and think I'm a little bit crazy, but in a couple of instances that has saved my butt, and that happened here. We walked around together, we both identified that there were no scratches on it before they did the work. Then when there were new ones on there, he was quick to, you know, admit to it and say, hey, I'm happy to help you out a little bit, and that's how it worked out. All right, so we'll wrap up the video there, guys. As always, I appreciate you watching. Let me know if you think I should have considered a different tire. You know, I have on a few occasions considered getting some Thompson Baja all-terrains. I've considered that, but I don't know why. I just kind of typically gravitate back to this. And truth be told, when I bought these, they were having a buy three get one sale going on, which those are always gimmicky. Let me make that pretty clear. But I ended up getting them down to just over $1,500 originally for buy three get one, right? I went through Big O Tire. Unfortunately, they did end up doing a couple very small scrapes on the wheels, a couple of the wheels in particular. Because of that, they were pretty quick to own up to it and say, hey, we're willing to cut you some slack, and they ended up reimbursing $400 for me, which was very nice of them to do. Obviously, I don't love having some scratches on the wheels, but I felt like that was a really nice trade-off for them to offer anyway. So it ended up being just over $1,100, but with a couple small scratches on the wheels, which I'm okay with. So let me know what your thoughts are on these Nitto Ridge Grapplers. As always, I appreciate you watching. Until next time.